cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike.
Action to Phil.
With aces.
Yeah, there was a straddle on the button. And look at this. So Phil raising in the cutoff, or hijack. Danconia in the cutoff with pocket jacks. Remember, James is a straddle on the button. So Danconia favors to be beating Phil's range here with pocket jacks. Just flatting, though.
Interesting. Interesting just flat. And James, that brings James right in with a 6-8.
I think it's very standard to 3-bet with the jacks in that spot. And look at this. Overpair for both Phil and Danconia. James was top pair. And very little outs to improve for James. Actually, very little outs for Danconia as well. They both have 2 outers. But the times that Danconia improves, it's much more disguised than when James improves. Phil with a $200 bet.
Yep, that's about 2/3 pot. Danconia again, just calling. Nice laydown from James.
Yeah, Danconia with a club in his hand as well.
James obviously playing to hit some kind of 2-pair straight outs.
Whoa! And there it is.
That's going to hurt.
Like I said, the times that Danconia improves, it's very disguised. But if Phil bets and Danconia raises, Phil may just figure him for a 4.
That is a bad part about playing it cagey as he did. Now you can almost put him on a 4 if you wanted to. Still hard to get away from aces at this point. Unfortunate for Phil.
Yeah, Danconia could easily show up with a 4 here, show up with something like pocket 6s as well. Pocket jacks is less likely given he didn't 3-bet.
Phil's bet 700. He has 2,800 behind. Right now, Danconia has 2,600 behind. So Phil has Danconia covered.
And there is his Hollywood face.
He bet a rather large amount, 700 into an $800 pot. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I often wonder, you know, when people are going to do this and you get called, I feel like warning bells should go off in your head. Like, usually a flush draw on a paired board is not going to call this large of a bet. Usually. I could be wrong. I know Danconia, I know he wouldn't. So when my opponent calls me right now, and specifically when my opponent is Danconia, and I know how tight he is, I'm very worried.
Danconia just flatting in. Danconia's head, he's saying no club, no club. Because the club will kill his action. Queen on the river, almost inconsequential. The only hand Danconia could be scared of now is pocket queens, in case Phil has it. Phil is going to bet this river for value. Phil bets 1,400.
All in from Danconia.
Yeah, and Phil, he knows this is bad news. I don't think Danconia is shoving with a worse hand than aces up.
It's only $550 more for Phil to call, and you can see obviously he's taking his time because he knows he doesn't want to call this.
Even if Danconia has something like ace queen of clubs, king queen of clubs, he's not shoving the river with those hands. But Phil might be priced in. It's only like $200 more. Danconia is showing the goods. Jack Full is going to take that down.